Hey everybody, it's Matt with the FlytrapStore, and in the big greenhouse here. This is our big greenhouse in Southern Oregon. It's a 10 by 12 Harbor Freight greenhouse I put together probably in 2009, I think, or 10, may have been 10. This is pretty much the majority of my personal collection of plants, and I thought I'd just give you guys a walkthrough here of some of the flytraps and Sarracenia that I grow. Most of these are for my personal enjoyment. There are a few trays hardening off there in the back. Fly traps out of tissue culture, probably last season, hardening off back there. But I'll just go quickly around the greenhouse here, starting in the left corner. Almost this entire bench of Sarracenia I picked up over the winter months. Well, starting probably about last July through December and January. I think I acquired almost all of these pitcher plants. Kind of went crazy with it, and picked up a bunch of plants that I've been eyeing for a long time and just decided to go all in. So this tray here is mostly flavas, and you can see a few red flavas in there. There's a Wakama in the center, smaller one, hard to see it back in here. Small little pitcher on it. I've got a couple other Wakama too. In the back there is the beautiful Ellie Wong. A couple other really dark red flavas in the corner, all red flavas, and some ornatas and a rugelii up here in front. Hot lips also. This is a Leucophila AJ01. You saw a lot of those in the other greenhouse. I just brought one over here for my personal collection. There's a nice Flava ornata back there. There's a couple of Hurricane Creek whites. This is the A times F clone. This guy right here. What else do we got? Leo Song is the big wavy lidded one. These are hard to see because of how crammed in I have them right now, but a couple of Oreophilas there in front. I think that bright pretty one is the Leucophila burgundy. Looks a lot like Dana's Delight, but different clone, I believe. I think this is Doreen's Colossus here, or maybe no, this is Supermax. Big boy. And this one back here is beautiful. I really enjoy that one a lot. That's a cross by Danny Powell. Leucophila Purple Lips times Flava Ornata. I think it's almost the same cross as Saurus, and it looks a lot like it. In fact, I think the picture shape's actually a little better on that one than on Saurus, but they're both beautiful plants, no doubt, worthy of anybody's collection. This is Potty Mouth here, big hoods and big mouths. Deep throat over here. Oh man, what else is in here? There's my larger Wakama. That's a beautiful red flava. And that is Dana's Delight in the back there. It's one I've been growing for a long time. 2009. Making our way around. There's my little Echinopsis rose quartz. Beautiful florific thing. Flowers constantly in these big, beautiful saturated red flowers. Just awesome. MD Butt Cheeks here. It's one of mine. Got it from Maxim Dalecki a long time ago. Cool little plant. Weird looking little traps on it. But I like how it pinches back in the freaky looking little thing. This is my favorite variegated variety here. This is Scarlatine, and I just created this mother pot of it recently. So it's a little haggard looking, but should fill out nicely next year. There's my mother pot of Wally. This is a nice vigorous clone from, oh man, what's the guy's name down in Florida? I can't think of it right now. Dr. Green Thumb or something like. No, that's our forum user. Who is the guy down in Florida? Somebody. Anyway. And Whip Snapper here. That's from World Insectivores Plants. It's the original selected clone from Bob Hanrahan. I'm letting it go to flower so it looks a little haggard too. And here are the majority of my fly traps in my personal collection. This new one here I just selected a little while ago. I think we're going to clone it and distribute it. I like it a lot. It's a really vigorous and tall kind of a sawtooth red fly trap. Looks a lot like red piranha, but it gets way tall, and I think it's more vigorous and bigger. So I called it Incredible Red Hulk, and I've sent it to a few people. It seems like most people are enjoying it from what I've heard, so we'll probably go ahead and name and distribute that one. What we have back here is the big Dracula. It looks like something's been crawling around in here today and tripped all the traps, but I've been impressed with this plant too. It's a pretty cool looking plant. Just like Dracula, but bigger traps and lots of color. Whip long. Typically has the longest leaves and very large traps. But I've been impressed with Incredible Red Hulk here. It's got really, it's almost on par with Whip long. What do we have? Bristletooth. Ship and Steel, always a cool plant. I love the little scaling on it. Bimbo, super impressive. Big traps on Bimbo. Oh, I love this one, and it colors up like crazy too. Later in the year, Red Fuse Tooth, looking really good. Groon, it's a really nice all green, so anthocyanin free variety of fly trap. I love that one. In front I have quite a few of green jaws from Matze over in Germany. Matthias Meyer. He co-authored the cultivar chapter with me and Stuart McPherson's Diania book, and that was a fun endeavor we did together. And he's one of the best at picking out some pretty awesome and freaky looking fly traps. So I got a little Hellcat last year from Jeremiah Harris, and these all came from Matze this past winter. The Giant Form and Giant Shark are side by side here, and then Adentate, and then a couple of Bloody Nurses here. One I got from Adrian Robledo down in Texas, and then this one came from Matze himself, and then Giant Kudo here at the end. A few others I picked up in a trade with Sarah Winans, now I think Cassis, but anyway, looks like a little microdent times wine rot, Assistius. It looks a lot like the clone I did a few years ago where I crossed microdent and wine rot. Very similar, short-toothed microdent kind of plant. A couple more big Draculas here, and then these guys are looking a little haggard from flowering. Payara, I don't know how to pronounce that one. Payara, interesting one, and Diabolic Horns. They both look like werewolf seedlings of some sort. A nice cross here too. Trichterfall times Coquillage. Pink Venus. Purple Ambush looking pretty good, even though it's flowering. DC All Red back there. Very nice one. What else do we have? Oh, here's that red microdent or Diablo Rouge. It's a really nice plant. And here's a werewolf spawn. Some I started from seed, just werewolf self-pollinated seed. And just a various hodgepodge. Yeah, I'm back finally. It's been a week since I was giving you the tour of this greenhouse. I'm going to have to mash together these videos, but I just wanted to finish up giving you guys a tour here. So,
okay, let's start off where you were then.
Okay, so I think I had covered through these trays, and there wasn't much left in this tray I was going to point out. Maybe, spotty back here, which was, when I got it, was a variegated fly trap, and it was the only one in circulation, I think. But I've been growing it 12 years, and it basically just turned into another red sawtooth clone. Right in front of its Bohemian Garnet. Nice little one. And then some more of those red microdent Diablo Rouge. I really like that one. A couple of, here's Reader Giant 3, getting some good color on it already early in the year. This is that red fused petiole from Best Carnivorous Plants. They called it BCP F04. It's got the little throat that fuses into the bottom of the trap, and it's a pretty cool little freaky one. Gigantea is a nice clone. This one looks a little haggard right now. Not sure what's going on. Everything, when they flowered, the fly traps tend to not look so good, and we're almost past the point of flowering. If you look over here, you can see all of our mother pots that we let go to seed are opening now. The first few flowers opened in the last week or so, and so we'll make our way over there. So this is another one of my Sarracenia pickups. I think most of this tray came from Kaylin Hall up in Portland. But I really like this guy right here. This is Super Heavy Veins Cross Legacy. Kaylin sent that to me as a freebie. I just love the intense pink coloration on the lip and the contrast with that yellow lid. It's just a beautiful plant. A couple of purpurias from Tatnall County, Georgia. Everyone says they're the best of the purpurias out there, and I really do like those. I'm not much into the tubby pitchers usually, but I like those guys. Guess we'll make our way through these mother pots of fly traps, and I was experimenting with some different feeding. So a lot of the traps, I fed them. I have an allergy to bloodworms, so
Yep.
I try not to feed those anymore to my plants because I get really bad reactions, sneezing, coughing, runny, itchy eyes. It's just miserable. So I bought some dehydrated insects, and the first ones I tried were grasshoppers, and I pureed them essentially with or ground them up with a coffee grinder, and then rehydrated them and fed them to these traps, and a lot of the traps are turning black because of that. It does look like they're getting some nutrition because I see lots of new growth coming out. Alien's a hard one to feed, but I love how it looks there. All those little teeth together come down from the top on that. Yeah. Cool. Pretty cool little plant. That's
yeah,
Jeremiah Harris got that one in the Guinness Book of World Records with the largest traps. And it's actually the longest traps, but in appearance, I don't think they look the largest to me. But they just wanted a measurement from distal to proximal end. So that one was a little over 2 inches, I think, when Jeremiah measured it. And it does get really long traps. But I think, honestly, Kronos and DCXL are probably the two biggest trapped plants that I've grown. And you can see now we have 3 mother pots of Kronos because I love that thing so much.
That's awesome.
Like I said, unfortunately, I killed a lot of the traps, but you can see the color on it, and it's always low growing, super vigorous. And that's SD Kronos for Stephen Doonan, who we partnered with for a while early on in the FlytrapStore years, probably from 2010 through 2014, maybe, something like that. Great guy. Miss working with him. He lives down in New Mexico. Hey, Steve, if you're watching this.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for all the tips.
Yeah, amazing grower. Probably the best grower I've ever worked with or known. So
true.
Learned a lot from him. Anyway, making our way through the rest of these plants.
Okay.
All of them are looking a little tired right now because they're putting up flower stalks, and they always go through this phase right after they do that where they lose some foliage and they kind of start dividing. And if you really let them go to seed, it does take a toll on the plants. It sets them back about 6 weeks, but we like making the seed to be able to offer it to other people and grow some of it for ourselves. So, yeah, lots of Kronos pots. I got 4 of those. Royal Red in the back. That's a long time favorite for a lot of people. I think it was the original red plant that was selected in cultivation many years ago. So a lot of the plants nowadays all come from those genetics. I'm pretty sure Maroon Monster is an offspring, which is the one Leah's on now filming. I think that's an offspring of Royal Red. It was a seed I got, and I started, it was from Steve Doonan's seed mix, actually, Maroon Monster, and I grew it from seed and selected it, and it's, most people consider it the biggest and most vigorous red-leafed fly trap out there, and it's been around the world and come back again, so it's I still love it, and it's still one of my favorites. Another great one I grew from seed from almost the same year, I think, maybe the year after, Steve's seed batch also. This is Fts Crimson Sawtooth. So it's a red sawtooth clone. Really vigorous, nice big traps, great color. Another one of most people's favorites for red-leafed sawtooth plants. Big Mouth, a classic, super vigorous, really good cedar. Nice red color. Gets decent size to it, but it's not, I wouldn't consider it these days a giant. It gets traps that are about 1.5 to 1.7 inches at max, but still a pretty good sized plant and really nice plant. This is Fine 2 times Red, and it's probably one of the most underrated plants out there, and I think it's one of the parents to Kronos just based on its growth habit and color. It's just a beautiful plant. Lots of coloration, always low growing, super vigorous, one of the best cedars there is. Jaws in the back, also a classic, and Steve Doonan only grows 2 fly traps these days, and this is one of them because he likes it so much. And I agree, it's big, healthy, thick leaves and traps, and really vigorous, good color. Later in the year, just a beautiful plant, one of my favorites. Here we have Lunatic Fringe, sibling to Trigger Happy, and I kind of stopped growing Trigger Happy in favor of this one because they're both quite similar with the craziness on the triggers and their sawtooth, but this one's more vigorous and just a... And this is Low Giant here, also a classic. I've kept a lot of the classics going in mother pots as I figured out which ones were the best seeders. Low Giant's a great seeder, just a beautiful plant too. It gets good color, good vigor. Purple Haze over here, and it's getting some odd-shaped spring traps on it. Little crazy-looking cup traps with weird cilia on it. So this one was registered a few years ago. I think it's a Low Giant cross a Kyreu. Coquillage. I cut all the flower stalks off this one because they start early and it takes a huge toll on this plant in particular. It puts a lot into the flower stalks for the size of the plant it is. So I usually don't let this one go to seed, although I have a few times over the years and made some crosses with it. And this is one of the few that the offspring actually do turn out looking a lot like the parent plant. And that is basically the end of the fly traps. So I have a few cephalotus here that I've been tinkering with over the last year or so. I kind of experimented with these guys, left them out here in our greenhouse, which gets warm. Here in Southern Oregon, last year, one day we had temperatures over 110, and I left these guys out here, and they hated it, but they survived, and you can see them coming back pretty strong this spring. This is OG Black here that has 3 flower stalks on it. I'm going to try crossing it with Hummer's Giant in the back, and I got that one from John Brittnacker. What are you saying, Leah?
Oh, it's going to stop in just a second, and we're going to have to go to the next video. Going on with cephalotus.
Sorry about that. It keeps dropping. I'm running out of space on my phone. Anyway, yeah, this OG Black I got from John Brittnacker, and I'm going to cross it with that Hummer's Giant back there, and hopefully we can get some nice red big cephalotus or just some interesting plants out of it. Last few plants here in the greenhouse. These are my Hurricane Creek Whites. This is a select clone that I picked out of a bunch of seed I germinated a long time ago. I really like it. I've got 3 big pots of it now, and I crossed a few of them this year with Saurus here, and hoping for some beautiful plants out of that. So I'll sow that seed hopefully this fall, assuming we don't lose anything in the move to Missouri, which is coming up soon. And then you can see this tray back here is Dana's Delight, and that's just one of the most beautiful Leucophila dominant red, pink, magenta
Beautiful
plants out there. A few leucos behind it. Those are just generic leucos I grew from seed a long time ago. And then this whole tray in the back right corner is actually Schnell's Ghost, which is a registered cultivar. Sorry about the hand in the face. Registered cultivar from a long time ago from Don Schnell, the late Don Schnell. So yeah, I think that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the tour, and yeah, happy spring and good growing, everybody.